Ready for a deep dive? We're going to be digging into persuasive writing today.
Yeah, the kind of writing that doesn't just tell you something, but it makes you want to do something.
Exactly. And we got some really interesting materials to work with.
Yeah, we're looking at LOEIs, the LOEI method, of course, all about
Professional copywriting.
exact.
Which, when I hear copywriting, I used to think like late night infomercials trying to sell you something you don't need.
Right, right.
But these materials, they totally flipped my perspective on that.
It's interesting how a lot of people think copywriting is about convincing people to buy things they don't need.
Yeah.
When really good copywriting is about connecting with people who already have that desire.
Exactly. They're already there.
Yeah, and then you show them how you can help.
So it's really about tapping into something that's already there.
Exactly.
And one of the things that AWAI does is they introduce this framework called the 4 Ps.
Right.
Have you heard of this?
I have.
Promise, picture, proof, push. It sounds kind of gimmicky when you first say it.
It does. It does.
But they actually illustrate it with this kind of wild example of a peanut diet, which, I mean, don't try this at home, folks. This is completely made up.
It's just an example.
It's just an example, yeah. But it really brings the framework to life.
It does.
So okay, let's say we're writing a sales letter for this imaginary peanut diet. So the first P, promise, right?
Right.
What's the big irresistible thing you're offering with this diet?
Yeah, and it's not just about like listing a benefit. It's about painting a picture, right? Like instead of just saying lose weight with the peanut diet,
Yeah.
you describe what it would actually feel like
Okay.
to be at your ideal weight.
Yeah.
You'd have more energy. You fit into those jeans you love.
You make it real for them.
You're not just selling a diet. You're selling a transformation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. But we live in a skeptical world, right?
Yeah.
So how do we overcome that?
Right.
That's where the proof comes in.
The
Got to back it up.
Absolutely. Got to have that credibility. So maybe for this peanut diet, we've got testimonials, right, from people who have,
I lost 10 pounds.
I lost 10 pounds eating nothing but peanuts.
My cholesterol's amazing, and all I eat is peanuts.
Maybe there's some obscure study about the power of peanuts.
Whatever it is, you need something to back up those claims.
Yeah, make it believable.
Right.
Okay, so we got the promise, the picture, the proof,
Okay.
the final P, the push, right? What's the push all about?
The push is where you tell them exactly what to do.
Okay.
So maybe there's a limited time discount on our peanut diet plan.
Right.
Or you get a bonus recipe book. If you act now, you create that sense of urgency.
Don't wait.
Yes.
The peanuts are going to go bad.
Exactly. But the important thing is there's a clear call to action.
Okay, I got it. So that's the peanut diet. Now, as crazy as that sounds,
Right.
what I find really interesting is that AWAI really stresses that this framework, it's not just for wacky diets.
No, not at all.
It can be applied to, well, what they say, everything from like traditional sales letters to, like you said, even recommending a restaurant.
To your website copy, even just, like you said, recommending something to a friend.
Yeah.
Hey, you should totally try this new place.
It's that same structure.
It's the same. You've got the promise, you paint the picture, you give them the proof.
And here's why you should go.
And here's why you should go right now.
Right, exactly. Okay, so that's the 4 Ps. Another big takeaway I got was this idea of, and it's a weird way to put it, but the tossed salad when it comes to your message.
Ah, yes, the tossed salad. I remember this one.
It's a weird one.
It's a strange analogy, but it works. It really gets the point across.
It does.
So often, when we're excited about something, we try to cram in every single detail
Oh, yeah.
into our writing.
All a thing.
We're like, it's got this and this and this and this, and it ends up like a tossed salad.
It's a big mess.
Lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, cheese, croutons, everything's just competing for attention.
And you're like, I don't even know where to start with this salad.
Exactly. You get overwhelmed.
Right.
And as a reader, you're just like, I don't even know what to focus on here.
Right.
So AWAI emphasizes that less is more. You need to do the opposite of the tossed salad.
Okay.
Find that one core message, that single most important thing you want your reader to take away.
So it's all about focus.
All about focus.
Pick the one thing, make it strong.
And this goes for everything.
Yeah.
From your headline to like the entire structure of your website.
It's about respecting the reader's time.
Absolutely.
And not overwhelming them, making it easy for them to be like, okay, I got it. I want to hear more.
Exactly. That's what you want. And, it's interesting because once you've got that one core message, then you got to figure out how to get people to actually listen, right?
Yeah, because like we were saying before, people can be skeptical.
Totally. And FWAI gets into this thing called the theory of resistance, which I thought was fascinating.
Okay, theory of resistance. Tell me more about that.
So basically, it's the idea that people are naturally resistant to being sold something.
Makes sense.
Right. Like, we've all felt that. When you feel like someone's pushing something on you, you kind of want to pull away.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like those ads that are just like, bam, in your face. And you're just like, no, thank you.
Exactly. So good persuasive writing has to cut through that resistance.
Okay.
But it can't be forceful. It has to be about building trust, not about tricking people.
Right, right. So it's got to be subtle.
Subtle and also genuine.
I see. So how do you actually do that? Like, are there examples of this in the AWAI stuff?
Oh, yeah, they give some great ones. One that comes to mind is this landing page for a piano course.
Okay, piano.
Yeah. Which, can be a tough sell. A lot of people who have this dream of learning piano,
Sure.
but they think it's too hard or they don't have time, the drill.
Yep.
So most piano ads are all like, learn piano today, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, kind of generic.
Right. But this landing page, they took a different approach. Instead of focusing on the mechanics of it all,
Okay.
they tapped into that desire, that feeling of, man, it would be so cool to just sit down and play my favorite song.
Yeah, just like effortlessly play.
Exactly. They even had this line like, imagine playing your favorite songs in weeks, not years.
Oh, I like that. Gets you hooked.
Right. Because it speaks to that desire.
Yeah, totally. So instead of being like, this is how you play C sharp minor, it's like, imagine being able to play Bohemian Rhapsody.
Exactly. And another good example they gave was this company that helps businesses with OSHA audits.
Okay, OSHA. Not exactly the most,
A training topic, right?
yeah, not exactly a page turner, but important though.
Super important, but yeah, not very exciting.
So how do they make that exciting?
Well, they frame it in terms of fear because a lot of businesses, they're afraid of OSHA audits.
Right, like, am I going to get in trouble?
Exactly. Am I going to get fined? So instead of talking about compliance, which is kind of a boring word, they focus on peace of mind. Like, we'll take care of this for you so you don't have to worry.
Oh, that's smart. So you're not just buying a service, you're buying...
Peace of mind.
Yeah.
And that's way more appealing, right?
Yeah.
So the point is, you got to really understand your audience.
Their fears, what they want.
Exactly. And then you speak to that.
Okay. So we're talking about how to craft a persuasive message, but what about the actual, like, style of the writing?
Right. Because you could have the best message in the world, but if it's written in a way that's boring or confusing...
No one's going to read it.
Exactly. And a WAI really emphasizes this idea of writing like you talk.
Okay, I've heard that before, but it's harder than it sounds,
Yeah.
right?
It is. It is. Because we're so used to writing in a certain way, especially if you're writing for, like, work or school.
Right, all formal and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with copywriting, you got to throw that out the window.
Okay.
You got to be conversational, like you're chatting with a friend.
I see, so more relaxed, more natural.
Yeah. They actually have this funny thing they call the bar stool test.
Bar school test.
Yeah. Imagine you're sitting next to your ideal reader at a bar.
Okay, I'm imagining,
Would you actually say the things you're writing in your copy?
like, out loud to a person.
Yeah. Would you use those same words, that same tone of voice?
That's a good test. I like that.
Yeah, and if the answer is no, then you probably need to loosen up the language a bit.
Okay, make it flow more naturally.
Exactly. And another part of that is avoiding jargon.
Oh, yeah, jargon. The enemy of good writing.
Right. Like, even if you're dealing with a complex topic, you got to use language that everyone can understand.
It's like that thing they say in the materials about corporate mayonnaise, right?
Yes. Too much jargon is like slathering your writing in mayonnaise.
Weighs it down, makes it heavy.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
You want your writing to be snappy, engaging.
Easy to digest. No mayo.
Exactly. Now, all of this might seem a little daunting, like, how am I supposed to do all this?
Huh.
But there's good news.
Oh, good news. What's the good news?
You don't have to do it alone.
Ah, right. Community.
Exactly. Finding other writers, whether it's online or in person, can make a huge difference.
It's like having a support system, right?
Exactly. People who understand the struggles, the joys, the whole 9 yards.
And you can get feedback from each other too, right?
Yes. Feedback is crucial. And it can be tough to hear sometimes, but it's how we get better.
Yeah, you have that thick skin.
Exactly. And remember, it's not personal. It's about making the writing stronger.
And, speaking of feedback, one of the copywriters they interviewed,
Yeah.
Tim Matassa, I think his name was.
Tim Natassa, right?
He had a really interesting point about getting feedback, not just from other writers, but...
It's from your audience.
Yes, from your actual audience, which makes sense, but it's not something you always think about.
It's easy to get stuck in that bubble, with just talking to other writers.
Right, like, we get it, but
But they might not be your target audience.
Right, exactly. They might have totally different tastes.
Totally. So getting that outside perspective is so valuable.
It's like the difference between like checking your work for typos and actually seeing if it makes someone laugh or cry or whatever you're going for.
Right, exactly. It's about the impact it has.
The impact, yeah. And sometimes that feedback, it might surprise you, right?
Oh, absolutely. It can be humbling.
Right. Like you think you've written the most brilliant thing and then someone's just like, I don't get it.
Right. And it makes you realize, okay, I need to rethink this. And it made me think about something else that Paul
Yeah.
Hollings had said.
Right. The other copywriter they interviewed?
Yeah, he was talking about how sometimes being too close to a product can actually be a disadvantage.
Interesting. How so?
Well, like, if you're the one who created the product or you've been working on it for a long time,
Right.
it's easy to get lost in the weeds, you know?
You know all the little details.
All the features, all the jargon, and you assume everyone else knows what you're talking about.
But they don't.
Right. And that's where you need that fresh perspective.
So it's almost like you got to try to forget everything you know about it.
Almost, yeah. Like approach it with beginner's mind.
Oh, I like that. Beginner's mind. See it with fresh eyes.
Exactly. Because that's how your reader's going to see it, right?
That's true. That's true. So as we're kind of wrapping up here,
Yeah.
thinking about persuasive writing and all these different techniques and ideas.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
It is. It is. What would you say is like the one big takeaway for someone to walk away with?
That's a good question. I think for me, it's that persuasive writing, it's not about tricking people.
Right.
It's about understanding them and connecting with them.
On a human level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about crafting a message that resonates, that makes them feel something.
Yeah. And then hopefully take action.
Exactly.
Mm.
Whether it's buying a product or just seeing the world in a new way.
It's about influence.
Influence, yeah, but in a good way. In a way that helps people, that makes their lives better.
I like it. So next time you sit down to write something, whether it's an email or a website copy or even just a social media post,
Think about those 4 Ps.
promise, picture, proof, push.
Avoid the tossed salad.
Less is more.
Exactly. And write like you talk. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes.
Awesome. Well, on that note, thanks for diving deep with us. Until next time, happy writing, everyone.